Hello and welcome to the Daily Millwall for Friday the 14th of April 2023. And Millwall had some good news today from another game that we didn't play in, but our rivals who are chasing us for a playoff did play in, Norwich. And they got absolutely smashed 5-1 by Middlesbrough. Not Middlesbrough, Middlesbrough. Yes, so they have -4 on their goal difference, which is absolutely fantastic for us. And I will tell you why as we scroll down and look at the table. So Millwall are in 5th for 62 points plus 7 goal difference. Norwich did have a goal difference of +12, which was a problem for Millwall, but they now have a goal difference of +8 after today's absolutely massive defeat away at Middlesbrough. So there you go, and I think it kind of means that we're 9 points behind Luton and Middlesbrough. It's Millwall and Blackburn, Preston, Norwich, Coventry, Sunderland for those two places, 5th and 6th. So realistically, we're going to finish 5th or 6th. If we are going to get in the playoffs, not going to beat Luton or Middlesbrough to fall for 3rd. So yes, but that does improve our chances because it's one less team to worry about, more or less, unless we lose tomorrow. But the team we're playing tomorrow is the other team that is chasing us at the 62. So one of them has already been taken care of by Middlesbrough. Thank you very much, you guys up there. So now we have to do the hard work and beat Preston North End at the Den tomorrow, and that will put a kibosh on them. It will move us up to 65 points, and if we beat Preston by the minimum you can beat someone, which is 1 goal, our goal difference will go up to +8, which will be the same as Norwich's. So hurrah for that, which means that if Norwich get the same amount of points as us, they can't go above us in the table. It's just the similar goal difference. So there you go, that's fantastic, isn't it? So yeah, if we do win tomorrow, we will be on at least +8, 65 points. And then Preston will be on 62 because we would have beaten them. Norwich stay where they are on 61, and then we'll see what Coventry, Sunderland, and Blackburn do. And if we just go up, and actually I don't even know who they're playing. So Sunderland at home for Birmingham, probably going to win that. Coventry away to QPR. Well, QPR are dog shit, so Coventry might win that. And Blackburn at home to Hull. And that's in the evening, so that's a mixed bag. Not too sure about that one, but so there you go. Norwich got absolutely hammered today. Good for us, good for Millwall. Now, we're going to move on to something that is a little bit weird. And it's this. So there's this guy called Richard White. Who is he? Well, I'll talk more about that later. But he got banned from Millwall. He had a season ticket. He got banned. And let's find out why. So here we go. So he's done this on his notes on his phone, it looks like. As a Millwall season ticket holder, the club management reached an all-time low with me yesterday, as I have now been banned by the Millwall FC without a reason. On Tuesday, a friend asked me if I could get them a ticket for Saturday, and when I went to purchase it through my online account, it wouldn't allow me to purchase the additional ticket and stated customer is currently on stop. Not knowing what this meant, I then phoned the Millwall ticket office on Wednesday, believing there was an error on my account, and was told that I was banned following an incident. I wish to make it clear that I have not been involved in any incidents, and I attend all my Millwall matches with my 2 boys. On Thursday afternoon, I went down to the Den to find out what is going on. I had to wait to speak to the club's health, safety and security and operations manager, as they apparently was the only person in the club that knew the reason why. After waiting for this person to arrive to the Den, I was taken into the club to discuss the situation, also escorted by a club steward. Apparently, a supporter has made a complaint about me directly to the Metropolitan Police. Apparently, under the EFL rules, this then triggers a banning order. Millwall FC apparently don't know what the complaint relates to, but are banning me with immediate effect without a reason. I now have to wait the Millwall Metropolitan Police designated football officer to contact me, who's apparently on annual leave. Although on annual leave, the club's health, safety, security and operations manager was still able to contact them regarding myself yesterday and is apparently going to give me a call today. If my friend had not asked me for a ticket, I would not be aware that I was banned. Apparently a letter was sent out by post on Wednesday, so there was a high possibility I wouldn't have received the letter before Saturday and then been refused entry to the ground. I could have also been arrested in front of my boys had I turned up to Millwall on Saturday, as the ban also includes any land owned or controlled by Millwall FC on the 12th of April. I only now have a copy of the letter after asking them to hand it to me when I was at the den yesterday. I am now being punished for something I don't have a clue, which I am being accused of. I believe these accusations against me are false, and I will now be seeking advice in challenging this. A warning to all supporters: if Millwall FC can ban me without reason, this could happen to you. Hashtag fill the den. And here's the letter. He's taking a picture of him putting up. Millwall Football Club have become aware of behaviour which has resulted in a complaint to the Metropolitan Police and which is being investigated. Whilst the investigation is ongoing, as a result, we wish to inform you that the club proposes a suspended club ban with immediate effect. This ban will remain in place and then be reviewed depending on the outcome resulted in the police complaint. The ban for Millwall FC includes any land owned or controlled by the club with immediate effect on the 12th of April 2023. Your season ticket has been suspended, and you also suspended from purchasing any tickets for home and away fixtures involving Millwall FC. So the sentence. So whilst this investigation is ongoing, as a result, we wish to inform you that the club proposes a suspended club ban with immediate effect. So they told him it was EFL rules, but here they're saying they proposed it. They proposed a club ban. So, yeah, this is very weird. Why is this very weird? Well, this is kind of stuff that happens to everyone all the time. But this is... Oh, there's more actually. Let me have a look at this actually. Let's bring this up. So, what happened here? Millwall FC's Twitter banned him. He blocked him on Twitter. Blocked him on Twitter. So on Twitter, you can mute people. What that happens if you mute them? You don't see any tweets from them. The reason why you block people is because you want them to know that you have blocked them. Because otherwise you could just mute them and they could be tweeting at you all day long and you wouldn't even know about it. But you want them to know that they've been blocked. So the club's Twitter account has blocked them. Very weird. Why is that? Well, I don't know, but if we go down, believe that there is more. So if we go here, there was an update 3 hours ago. Yep. So he's done this. Following on from my discussion with the Health, Safety, Security and Operations Manager at the Millwall FC on Thursday 13th of April, I was then contacted by the Metropolitan Police designated football officer for Millwall on Friday the 14th of April. Although I was on annual leave, apparently picked up my email. The Health, Safety, Security and Operations Manager also told me he made contact with the Metropolitan Police designated football officer for Millwall on Thursday. Between the two separate conversations, both told me different versions, which made me quickly realise those people in power could not be trusted. The Health, Safety, Security and Operations Manager informed me that a supporter had made a complaint directly to the Metropolitan Police, which had triggered a banning order. The Metropolitan Police designated football officer for Millwall told me that no supporter had made the complaint. It was actually Millwall who had made the complaint directly to the Metropolitan Police, and it was by a member of staff. So Millwall did know the reason why I was banned and activated a banning order on me. I have been asked to voluntarily attend the police station next week for interview, as I have already lost confidence with the two mentioned people. I asked my representation to request for another Metropolitan Police officer to carry out the interview. I have been open about the banning order as my conscience is clear, and to raise awareness in how someone who has done nothing wrong can be punished. I take pride in my work and reputation. I'm not going to let people ruin that, regardless of how powerful they think they are. Only people that know me will be aware that my mother recently passed away, so this is a false complaint. I'm at a very unwelcome time. I'm so grateful to those who have reached out and backed my corner. It's just a shame it's against our own club. So, there was a complaint made to the police by a member of staff at Millwall. Yeah? But then Millwall told him that it was someone in the stands. So he thinks that it was when he was at the last game. So what was the last home game? What would it have been? It wasn't Hull. It was the Good Friday game, the Luton game. So he thinks it's something that happened in the Luton game. But what is going on here? Is this something else? Now, why is this important? You may or may not know Richard White. So it was by a member of staff who went straight to the police. Keep that in mind. So who is this guy? Well, here we go. End of an era. Millwall Community Trust. And here we go. This is a year ago. This was on 27th of April 2022. My employment at Millwall Community Trust comes to an end today after nearly 22 years following my recent resignation as Community Development Manager. Yeah, so this guy worked for Millwall Community Trust for 22 years. I am extremely disappointed to be leaving, as Millwall has been a huge part of my life. However, I believe it's a decision I needed to make. I've had the pleasure to work and engage with many inspirational and passionate people. I've gained many friendships. I've been fortunate to work on a variety of different projects throughout my time at Millwall to help improve people's lives, and I will cherish many fond memories and achievements. I'm extremely grateful for the opportunities which had allowed my professional growth to continue at Millwall. I valued the contributions my colleagues have made to help us achieve our goals collectively. I'm proud to be part of the Millwall family, which will now continue as just a supporter. Well, it did until today, or a couple of days ago. So yeah. So bear that in mind. 22 years working for Millwall Community Trust, right? So that's who this guy is. We got this here from jamesfmurray.co.uk. This is a kind of like blog post featuring, I think, a news story. So Richard White, the story of an esteemed community worker. Millwall Football Club is renowned for having a bad name within the sport, as their supporters regularly sing "No one likes us, but we don't care because we're Millwall." But in fact, they do care. This is clearly displayed by the actions of Richard White of the Millwall Community Trust. Richard White grew up in East Dulwich in the borough of Southwark. In his early teenage years, Richard was a youth at Chelsea FC School of Excellence before stints at Brentford, Welling, Dulwich Hamlet, Crawley and Tooting and Mitcham. Injuries were the primary reason for his career ending prematurely, leading to Richard joining MCT as a casual coach in the summer of 2000. The rest, as they say, is history. 15 years down the line, Richard White is now the Community Development and Health Improvement Manager of the MCT. He has had several different roles, but the transition being one of the faces of the trust has been relatively smooth for the local man. Growing up, Richard's commitment on the football pitch was often seen as his downfall. He was regarded as a risky player. Now that passion and tireless exuberance is paying off. Schools, coaching and sports participation manager Lou Newstead said he's everything that the trust is about. With Richard, what you see is what you get. You couldn't ask for a better role model. Football now becomes a regular 7 days a week fixture for Richard. Saturdays are set aside for his beloved Millwall, but he and his two boys attend every home game. Alongside his job at the trust, he manages Fisher FC under 15s, who his older son plays for. And this was in 2017. This piece was written, so it seems his son is in his 20s now. Since the experienced coach took over, the team has had a miraculous upturn in fortune, some youngsters having trials at professional clubs. One specific story Richard looks back upon fondly is that of Harvey Brown. In Southwark News, Harvey's family appealed for support of their petition for the NHS to start funding treatment of the ultra-rare disease Mercurio in the hope of prolonging their son's life. Richard believed his role at Millwall could greatly benefit the family and therefore offered his help. After Richard and the club got on board, the petition soared to 11,000 signatures, meaning that it could be taken to the government, subsequently leading to the vital medicine being granted following Harvey's case. This brave little boy has since become an ambassador of the MCD and regularly attend sessions. In early 2016, Richard started Walking Sports with Older People program. After a slow start, participation levels are now into double figures. Several with limited mobility and, outstandingly, some suffering from dementia. Richard regards this widely as his favourite, most rewarding session. Line manager of Millwall Kicks, Gary Otim, said he's worked with young people over the years, myself included, but is now working with older people too, showing he genuinely is the man of his community and speaks volumes of his character. The session begins with tea and biscuits whilst reading the local paper. Before heading outside to partake in various sporting activities, it's evident that a real bond has been made between everyone in attendance. Participant Mavis said, if it wasn't for Richard, my life would probably be a little worse. To my mind, he's a saint. So what's going on here? What is going on here? So you've got a former, and we got this as well. I'm not going to read this, but you can see the picture. There's him. You may recognise that fella. So this is from 2020. So obviously during COVID, he was out and about, dropping things off. The various podcasts where he's on it. Millwall Community Trust. This is from Millwall Community Trust and website, millwallcommunity.org.uk. So what's going on here then? It's very weird. It's either very, very petty or very, very serious. In my mind, I don't know what's going on. But just looking at the outside, so you've got someone who used to work for Millwall for 22 years, recently complained. I think he resigned because he was kind of butting heads with Kavanagh himself. So if you've got the chairman, the CEO of Millwall lowering himself to get a former employee banned for seemingly no reason, that's very, very petty. On the other hand, what could this may be? I have no idea. This is purely speculation. Are we looking at a Dario Gradi situation here, or a Harvey Weinstein situation? Some kind of Me Too thing. So a member of staff complained to the police a year after he resigned, and he was working for Millwall for 22 years. So a lot of people are jumping on the thing that it's something that he did during the match, and that's what he thinks it is. Is it something else that's happened when he was working for the club? And I don't know. I literally don't know. Maybe it is just someone he didn't like him, didn't get on with him, just made up a complaint. But they said they went to the police. They didn't go to Millwall to try and get him banned. So it's a bit, how would you know that if you went to the police that would get him banned from going to Millwall? I don't really know that. All kind of very weird. Like I said, this could be something very, very serious or something very, very petty involving office politics at Millwall. But it's all very weird that it's being played out in public. A lot of people have seen these tweets. The MSC are getting involved. Millwall's Twitter blocked him, as you saw. Very, very weird. We'll see. Well, the truth will out. And I'm sure we'll find out what's going on sooner rather than later. So, moving on to this, the actual football on the pitch. From LondonNewsOnline.co.uk, points not performances. The priority is Millwall look to clinch one of those prized Championship playoff spots. Billy Mitchell is looking for Millwall to lock down a Championship playoff spot, and he doesn't care one bit how they achieve it. The Lions head into another high-pressure affair at the Den tomorrow against Preston North End, who have taken 15 points from a possible 18, move level on points with Garrow outside. Millwall have failed to score in the last 4 league matches, but were unlucky Monday's 1-0 reverse at Hull City, a mixture of Carl Darlow's shot stopping, Oliver Burke's strike coming down off the crossbar, and some wayward finishing responsible for the blank. The Lions had expected goals of 2.2 in the whole fixture, compared to 0.95 for the host, but Adama Traore's slick 20-yarder inflicted a reverse. The reaction on social media from fans is only natural, Mitchell told the South London Press. As players, we're frustrated as well. It's the crunch point this season. You really kind of value results more than performances. In the early part of the season, you want to get the performances in place and feel the results will come. At this stage, you don't really care how you get the points. The results around us could have been worse, but also could have been better. Our form in the last 4 games hasn't been great, but if you break down the performance as a whole, then I'll say it was good. We had 22 shots on goal. I'd agree with fans that we need to be way more clinical in front of goal. There are too many rushes of blood to the head and missed opportunities. We certainly had games both home and away this season where we've played far worse and created far less, but won it with perhaps a lucky set piece and had opposition taking shots from the edge of the box that went over. That all gets brushed over and forgotten because you come away with the 3 points. There were some good bits. We got into some really good areas. Berkey, Zion, Coops, Hutch and Bradders had chances. We nearly nicked it at the end. I should have done better with a shot as well, really. We should have shut them down better on the edge of the box, but the lads scored a good goal. We didn't take our chances. You watched the Burnley-Sheffield United game that evening. There were 2 balls to the edge of the box for Monson, and he puts them both away, and that's kind of the difference. Mill have to rediscover their scoring touch. It's been more than 6.5 hours since they last netted. Andres Vogelsam in a 2-1 victory over Swansea on March the 14th. You don't need 22 shots to go in to say you finished well, said Mitchell, who made his 100th appearance for the Lions in the derby with QPR. You only need, in the case of Monday's game, for 2 to go in to win the game. We had expected goals of more than 2. The gaffer mentioned afterwards that when we do our patterns of play and finishing practice to try and not go through the motions, sometimes you can be content with just getting good contact on the ball. It can go into the keeper's hands wide or hit the post, and people think, oh, that's not too bad. You really need to concentrate on putting the ball in the back of the net. Bradders and Zion have done fantastic scoring goals this season, but we've not really had much contribution elsewhere, myself included. That I haven't scored. If we can all try to chip in, especially over these last few games, it's going to make a difference. I'm not concerned. It's more concerning if we weren't creating the chances. That wasn't the problem on Monday. Mitchell missed 9 matches after tearing ankle ligaments at Coventry City on February the 14th. His recent return coincided with Ryan Lender being ruled out for around 3 weeks with a groin strain. It always seems to be the way that when one comes out, one goes out. One comes in, one goes out, said Mitchell. For the last few games, you'll really like the ability to rotate the squad. Lenny is a massive character. He is really funny and brings everyone together. The attributes he brings are important. The nasty defensive bits, he's got a lethal shot. And he's a very powerful runner who can carry the ball up the pitch for you. But the Mitchell-Saville axis has served Millwall well for much of the campaign, and the younger man answers 100% when asked if his midfield partner is a contender for the club's Player of the Year award. Watching from the side, you see every little bit that people are doing. So it's easier to watch the game and get a better grasp on it in a different type of way than you do when playing. And Sav does a heck of a lot of dirty work. Normally he has the most ball recoveries and the other defensive stats. He's also got an eye for a pass. He's an excellent all-round player, and he does everything well. There are 450 minutes, not including stoppage time, of the regular season to go. The prize is huge. The prize can literally transform a club's fortunes, especially one that has not been in the top flight since it was rebranded to the Premier League. It would be relatively dull if you were a team at this stage with nothing to play for, said Mitchell. Everyone's trying to get promoted to the Premier League. You want to be in this position. Indeed, Billy. So, obviously, I said yesterday that we had some pieces about Billy Mitchell interview, and here we go. This is probably the rest of that interview. That's in the South London Press today, in the actual paper. Remember them? Remember papers? Made out of actual paper that you can buy in a shop, sit down and read. So moving on to this, also, here we goes again. From londonnewsonline.co.uk, Gary Rowett. Millwall boss has full confidence as championship running looks set to come down to fine margins. Garrett has full confidence in his Millwall players as they head into another Big Den clash that can have major implications on the final complexion of the Championship top 6. The Lions are 5th in the table but have not scored in the last 4 league matches. The stalemate in SC16 against Luton on Good Friday was followed by a 1-0 defeat at Hull City at the start of this week. The South Londoners punished for not taking a number of scoring opportunities. Tomorrow's opponents, Preston, are level on points with the Lions but outside the playoffs on goal difference. Rowett said earlier this week that his side will only have themselves to blame if they fail to pick up wins in the next 4 matches before a final day showdown against Blackburn. If it comes down to the last game, then it's home one against the team near us, the Lions chief told the South London Press. That's going to be a one-off game on. You want to get in that position, either in it or with a chance to get in it. So, well, hopefully, I hope we have it secured before then. I don't want to play off to get into the playoffs. Who wants that? I guess the club do, because they'll sell all the tickets in the ground for that one. We're 5th in the league because of 41 games. We have to remind ourselves of that. We're not 5th in the league because we've been lucky. We're not 5th in the league because we got away with it in the last 4 games. And the last 4 games won't define where we finished in the league. After 41 games last season, we were 9th, and we're now 5th. We've got to win games of football. I'm watching big games that unfold around us. I watched the Champions League game the other night. Bayern Munich have now got 3 goals to claw back on Man City. They're one-off games. You've got to go and perform. We're into money games now, the games that really count. I spoke about it previously, how we won't get carried away or too excited. It's the last stage of the season, which is really important. That's where we're at. I've got a lot of confidence in the group. We've worked so hard to get to this point. We'll go out there against Preston and try and put in another big home performance. I'm sure backed by our fans. And that's brilliant if you want to be part of course, we'd love to be 8 points clear, but we're not because we haven't scored enough goals. So therefore, we've still got a lot of work to do. Indeed, we do. Moving on to, obviously, very, very much pressure. Being a manager, trying to get into the playoffs, especially at Millwall, with our fans. No offence. Millwall's Gary Rowett talks about how running acts as release from pressures of management. Gary Rowett has talked about the cathartic effect running has had on him as Millwall manager gears up for the London Marathon this month. The Lions boss is raising funds for the British Heart Foundation, the chosen charity of the family of Paul Jiggins, a football reporter at The Sun who passed away last year. Rowett is running with his daughter Betsy. Asked how much running helps as a switch off football, he replied, "Massive! I'm down in London and away from my family, so most evenings I'll get back to my apartment and spend until 11 watching our games, looking at Y Scout, thinking about the team. It's good to get out for a few hours to run and see London. I'm doing it with my daughter this year. She's just turned 21, so it's going to be a really nice experience. I've been out with her after work, and there's been a couple of times I've had to head over to Marylebone at 5:30 and run a half marathon. You've got to have some sort of release from management. For me, it's always been that. It's a great way to explore cities. Some people say you must think about football, but it's probably the only time that I don't. Of course, some fleeting things go through your mind, but it's a good way to switch off for half an hour or 3 hours, depending which type of run I've got to do. I've done the London Marathon a few times before, and it's such an amazing event. People come out and support. It's a very unique event. Everyone is running it for special causes that mean something to them. I'm aware as a manager at a Championship Football Club, I can raise awareness around key things. And Paul being a Millwall fan and his family choosing the British Heart Foundation as their main charity, it was something worthwhile doing. I was on for 3 hours, 48 minutes last year and then blew up at mile 20 or 21. My daughter might keep me at a sensible pace. My son is doing Valencia in December, so they've caught the bug. And you can donate to justgiving.com and search for all of that stuff. That's the actual link there, which doesn't make sense. I guess copy and paste that, or just search for Gary Rowett on Just Giving. So yeah, Gary Rowett, the runner. Now, tomorrow, Preston, home game, big game, important ticket office information from Mill Preston. The Lions have issued the following ticket advice to supporters attending SC16 this weekend to ensure that everyone is aware of which areas will house certain inquiries and to also ensure that all fans are inside the stadium for kick-off. So the main ticket office, that's the numbers, was it 1 to 11? So they're doing basically everything. Preston sales, because there's still like 2,000 seats left. Birmingham City sales, Wigan away sales, Blackburn Rovers at home sales. So the last game, the last game of the season is already on sale, and season ticket sales. So as normal, ticket collection for Preston is at the ticket collection window. If you want to collect tickets for Birmingham, Wigan or Blackburn Rovers that you've already bought, you have to go to the Coldblow Lane ticket office, which is the one on the end. So you have to do that. Ticket offices will be open from 10 a.m. and they reckon if you want, you should arrive early. So there you go. Now you know. Moving on to this. So obviously Community Day, Millwall's Community Day. Millwall Football Club hosts its annual Community Day this Saturday as Preston North End visit the Den and Sky Bet Championship. So here's what's going to be happening in the Lions Centre. So they've got that from 9:30 to do stuff. They've got an AP P16 football session. No idea what that means. They got walking football. Panda Silby match. Okay. Services Cup. And Family Fun Zone from 12:30 to 2. Around the ground. Supporters can find stalls showcasing the outstanding work of Millwall Community Trust, while Deptford Rascals will play at the SC16 band. There's going to be bucket collections, and then the Millwall Lionesses under 14s will form the guard of honour for the players who enter the pitch. So there you go. That's what's happening tomorrow. Now we're got this piece from the londonnewsonline.co.uk. Scunthorpe, remember them? I believe they just got relegated to the National League North, so they are 2 leagues below the Football League now. Since we beat them in the playoff final, they absolutely imploded, and they fell off pretty hard. So Scunthorpe's sad plight underlines why Myron Wallace is savouring Millwall's playoff chase. Murray Wallace knows all about final league positions not mattering when it comes to the playoff. The Scottish defender was part of Scunthorpe United side, finished 9 points clear of Millwall in their 2016-17 League One campaign. The Iron came third in the table, 4 points behind second place Bolton. The Lions only scraping 6 after Sean Hutchinson's late goal at Bristol Rovers on the final day. It's an example of the sliding doors moments you get in football. Scunthorpe drew 0-0 in the playoff first leg at the Den and took the lead at Glanford Park through Ivan Toney, only for Millwall's frontline double act of Steve Morrison and Lee Greggy to turn the tie around to make it 3-1 before the hour mark, eventually prevailing 3-2 on aggregate. Any Lions fan knows what came next. Morrison's finished singing off Bradford at Wembley and securing a return to the Championship. Fast forward, and Scunthorpe will play in the National League North next season after 2 successive relegations. Wallace signed for Millwall from the Lincolnshire outfit for £500,000 in June 2018. It's a massive shame to see what's happened to Scunthorpe. The Glaswegian told the South London Press. When I was up there, the club was challenging for promotion to the Championship. We came up against Millwall and they went up. Maybe there was a bit of complacency from us in that we got a good result at the end. It's not an easy place to go. So to come away with a 0-0 and then have a home tie felt like a great opportunity. We went 1-0 up and maybe got a little bit carried away. The game turned on its head. There's lessons you take out of the game, not to take anything for granted. 5 or 6 seasons later, they've dropped down the leagues. You never want to see that happen in any of your previous clubs, but especially not one which you have good memories of. That's why it's so important to seize these opportunities you get. This is where we want to be. We want to be fighting for those playoff positions and to have a chance of getting promoted. Millwall are 5th in the table with 5 matches remaining, starting with informed Preston North End in SC16 tomorrow. Wallace said, doesn't matter what position you finish, 3rd, 4th, 5th or 6th. you're in the playoffs, then the league form goes completely out the window and becomes a knockout stage. It's then about whatever can manage and perform the best. Initially over the first two games, and then if you may hit the final match. That's why it's so important to just get into those spots. It gives you every chance. That's what we all want: progression. Millwall Football Club want to progress. We tend to keep the core group of players, and we're all driven. We want to keep improving all season. Each season, we want to get better points tally, improve on our goals scored, and keep more clean sheets. And these are the sort of targets we aim for. Millwall are not relying on our results to go their way as they look to reach the playoffs at this level for the first time in 21 years. It's a significant position to be in, said Wallace. Maybe we're a bit fortunate to have that after the last few results. That's up to us what we do. We're not relying on anyone else to slip up. In the last few games, it isn't even that we've been performing badly. What's most frustrating is that the performances didn't quite get the results that they deserved. A draw against Luton with where they are in the table wasn't the worst result. We had half chances to win that game. A draw was probably a fair result. At whole, we were in control of the game for most of it. And had the better opportunities to not take any points is disappointing and frustrating. Indeed, indeed, indeed. I don't know why it sounds Northern Irish, but moving on to this. Injury news. From the Southwark News.co.uk, Mill midfielder doubt ahead of final championship fixtures after suffering injury in Hull City defeat. George Honeyman is unlikely to be involved in the Lions clash with Preston North End tomorrow afternoon. Gary Rowett said that George Honeyman is set to miss tomorrow's clash with Preston North End after injuring his hamstring against Hull City. The midfielder pulled up in the first half for 1-0 defeat on Easter Monday, but was determined to play on, ultimately coming off for Romain Esse in his 64th minute. Rowett admitted after the match that he was concerned about Honeyman, but did not know how serious the knock was. However, he has since revealed that the Lions are waiting to receive the results of the scan, that it looks like he could miss next few weeks of the Championship campaign. He still hasn't had the scan yet, so we haven't had the results. We're hopeful, but it looks like there will be a chance he'll miss some games. We'll wait and see. I don't know whether we'll see him against Preston. My gut feeling is that it'll be a doubt. So there you go. George Honeyman will not play against Preston. Now, moving on to the head-to-head, the preview, the predictions, looking at the history of the fixture of Millwall versus Preston North End from 11v11.com, and here we go. The first game we played against them was, I believe, in the season where we did really, really well and got to the FA Cup semi-final. I think it was the season which earned us the nickname the Lions from the Dockers. We beat the mighty Preston North End, who were an absolute juggernaut in those days, I believe. Maybe they were having a bad year then, I don't know. 1903. We beat them 4-1, and that would not have been at the Den, because we moved to the Den in 1910, I believe. So that was not at the Den, that was on the island. So we beat them 4-1. And as you scroll down, you can see it's Millwall versus is highlighted, which means a home game. There's not a lot of times when we played them at home and lost. There was one here, which is crazy. That one there, 1930, 4th October. We lost 5-7. 5-7. And I believe that's the season where they fucked around with the offside rule. And teams were winning like 9-1, 6-1 and stuff. And then I think they changed it back. I think it was that season, 29-30. But, so we lost 5-7 there. We lost in 1948. We lost 2-1 in the FA Cup, and that would have been at the Den. And as you scroll down, this is a game we win quite often. 4-1 in 1973. Anyone remember that? There's another defeat. So there's another defeat there in 1979, 22nd of May. Pretty late with that. Was that because of all the strikes and stuff? Why was the season going on to the 22nd of May? Was that the last game of the season? But yeah, another couple of wins. 3-0 win. 3-2 win. Then we get to another defeat in 1998, a 1-0 defeat. A draw, and then a 2-0 defeat. 2-1s. We lost 1-0 in 2003. We lost 2005, lost 2-1. So before the 2000s, it was a game that we won more often than not. It's only in the 2000s where it kind of tipped the other way and we started to lose quite a few games at home to Preston. But then as we get into the 2010s, that kind of reverses, because 2011 we won 4-0. 2013 we won in the FA Cup third round. We drew against them 1-1, although in 2019 we did lose 3-1. That's the last time we lost to them in any competition in, 7 games. So the last 7 games we played against Preston North End, home or away. We have not lost. And in the home games, we've had a 1-0 win in 2019, 2-1 win in 2021, and a 0-0 draw in February 2022. So there you go. This is a game we win a lot of. We do lose occasionally, but we do win a lot of these games at home to Preston, which is good. It's a good sign. And moving on now to this from whoscored.com. Actually, this one, whoscored.com. And it's the preview. So if we look on the right hand side and look at the match facts, Millwall failed to score in their last 4 matches. Yes, we know. Thank you very much. Preston have won 5 of their last 6 matches. There have been under 2.5 goals scored in Millwall's last 4 games. Indeed. So, last 4 games, as it's pertinent to Norwich's result. So, we drew 2 games 0-0. But the games we did lose, we only lost by 1 goal. We lost 1-0, which is good in terms of keeping our goal difference solid and respectable and competitive with the other teams around us. Here we go. Here's the last 6 games. You can see we've won 3, drawn 2, lost 1. We've kept 3 clean sheets, and they've only kept 1 clean sheet. So it's not a game that Preston keep a lot of clean sheets. But having said that, it's been 6 goals. So in the 6 games, it's 6 goals for Millwall, 5 games, 5 goals for Preston, and similar yellow cards 9 and 8. If we scroll down and look at the table, here's the table as it stands. The 2 teams are level on points and level on results. 17 wins, 11 draws, 13 defeats. We've scored 48 goals, so we haven't scored that many goals, but we scored more than Preston. They're averaging 1 goal per game. We're doing slightly better than that. They've also conceded more goals than us. We're conceding on average 1 goal per game. They're doing more than that, 45. So, and they have a minus goal difference of -4, which is weird for a team in the top of the table. There's 2 of them, Blackburn and Preston. But there you go. That's how crazy this league is this season. Now, home team. Home. We're the 6th best home team in the league. But how good are Preston away? They're a really good away team. 10 wins, 5 draws, 5 beats. Oh dear. What about recently? Well, obviously we know their form recently. They are the best team in the league in the last 6 games, and we are 14th. They've won 5, drawn 0, lost 1. Scoring 11, conceding 7. We've won 2, drawn 2, lost 2, scoring 3 goals, conceding 3 goals. Oh, well, let's have a look at their results. So they beat Cardiff 2-0. They beat Rotherham 2-1. They got absolutely walloped by Middlesbrough. They beat Blackpool, the relegation team. They beat Queen's Park Rangers, the basket case team. And they beat Reading, another basket case team. So their wins come against teams that are having real problems. or are not very good teams. If we look now, you can see I've sorted it by Mill's home games, last 6 home games, Preston's last 6 away games. So they've kept clean sheets against Hull, Watford, QPR. They've failed to score against the 2 decent teams, Burnley and Middlesbrough. And they failed to score against Watford and Hull. So in terms of, you saw that their results were they won 5 out of their last 6. But in terms of their last 6 away games, it's not as good as that. They've drawn 2, lost 2, and won 2. And like I said, the 2 that they won were against Rotherham and Queen's Park Rangers. So when they had to play some good teams, they got smashed 3-0, 4-0. Now, are we as good as Middlesbrough and Burnley? Probably not. We're certainly better than Watford and Hull, who they drew 0-0 with. So maybe a 1-0 or a 2-0 win for Millwall. Who knows? But as you can see on the left-hand side, we haven't scored in the last 2 home games. We did keep a clean sheet in the game against Luton, which was our first clean sheet at home for a while. Yes. Millwall's strengths and weaknesses, Preston's strengths and weaknesses. There you go. Preston will steal the ball from the opposition, often likely. Okay. So moving on to this from whoscored.com, it's their preview, it's their prediction. Quite a few injuries for Preston. So Ched Evans is out, Alan Brown may be out, Alistair McCann may be out. You can see some of their better players higher in the rating, 6.81, Cunningham out. But there you go. So the prediction. Millwall had no response to Adama Traore's second half goal on Monday as they slumped to a 1-0 away defeat against Hull. The Lions are now winless in 4 league games but remain 5th in the table heading into the weekend. Preston's emergence as a playoff contender has been a rapid one, but the Lily Whites are in red hot form, heading into the final 5 games of the season. A late Easter Monday win against Reading means that Ryan Lowe's men have won 5 of their last 6 league games. And they predict Millwall 1, Preston 2. Okay. Moving on to this from skysports.com. What's happening here then? What's he saying? What are you saying, boy? How far down are we? 3rd. Okay, we're only 3rd down. 4 games without a win, 4 games without a goal from Millwall. Their form has dried up at the wrong time, and they could find themselves out of the top 6 after this one. Preston, meanwhile, are bang on it right now. It could be one of the sides who take their spot. They will fancy themselves, but this will be close. Despite Millwall's recent struggles, I think there will be goals here, but I'll go for a point apiece. And he predicts Millwall 2, Preston 2. Okay. I think there's going to be goals too, but I don't think they're going to be Preston goals. I think they might get one. But I think Millwall are going to score quite a few. I think the Norwich result is going to buoy everyone up. And I think they're just going to get. I don't know how they didn't even score against Hull, let alone beat them. It is what it is. So I think they realise now they've just got to win. It's good to play good, but we just need to win. So going to be probably even more direct and more forthright, more attacking. So I think it's probably going to be Millwall 4, Preston 1. So I think it's going to be 4-1 or 3-1. Yeah, probably 4-1. 4-1. Yeah. And on that note, thank you for watching and goodbye.